Have a huge show ahead tonight. The man who killed George Floyd by kneeling on his neck now faces 40 years in prison. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin made most of us sick to our stomachs as we watched him leave his knee on George Floyd's neck as Floyd pleaded for help. The nearly 10-minute video, of course, is hard to watch. Most officers I spoke with all agree Chauvin should have checked on his suspect, tested his resistance, and even sat him up, certainly gotten him help sooner. But let me make this very clear. The manslaughter charge I can see, death by negligence. Chauvin created an unreasonable risk to Floyd. But convicting him of second-degree unintentional murder, to me, in my opinion, is nothing short of bowing to the mob here. What the jury is saying is that Chauvin is guilty of intentionally committing assault, intentionally inflicting, quote, substantial bodily harm that led to Floyd's death. Intentionally. I do not see it. I think Chauvin was poorly trained, but I don't think he intentionally set out to inflict harm. The evidence doesn't support that claim either. The autopsy certainly doesn't support that claim. So why did the jury come down with the harshest ruling possible in just 10 hours to send a man to prison for 40 years? The answer is right here.
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
I mean business. Maxine Waters threatened the jury there before they were sequestered, by the way. See, Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioters, they all threaten the jury by their actions day in and day out. And our own president today pretty much threatened the jury too.
I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict, which is, I think it's overwhelming in my view. I wouldn't say that unless the jury was sequestered now. Not hear me say that.
The right verdict? That's like a mob boss saying, you know what to do, now go do it. Maxine Waters, BLM, Joe Biden, they all actually threatened America. If you do not comply with the guilty verdict on the murder charge, America will burn. That's the message we all got day in and day out. And the intimidation worked. This is the very reason the jury should have been sequestered during the entire trial, not just the deliberation of the verdict, as Joe Biden was talking about. If they were truly sequestered, I'd never be able to make this claim. Other conservatives could never make this claim, that they were intimidated into returning nothing less than the harshest verdict of guilty for murder. By allowing the jury to hear these wild threats and violence and destruction, to see the riots going on across the country day in and day out over the past few weeks, the judge threatened the integrity of this verdict. So here is what will happen now. Democrats will be emboldened by their means justify the ends victory here. Cops are now put on notice. You make a mistake, you could go to jail for 40 years. What will happen? Here's my prediction. The cops are going to just give up, okay? The criminals will win. Crime will flourish. And cops will continue to be vilified. Again, Derek Chauvin made a horrible, deadly mistake. I 100% agree he deserves punishment, but not 40 years in prison. That's the possibility. But I believe the system here failed us all. And now the Democrats literally rejoice at this, as nearly every one of them now claims this verdict is not enough.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.